When you go on social media platforms, you see comments on support your own. You see comments on multiple haters. You see comments on improving your quality. You see comments about the right fees talents are paid. So there are a lot of debates, and I'm not exactly sure who is right, who is wrong, but there's one thing: Cameroon has not been able to monetize appropriately from its culture within its country. A lot of the talents who have succeeded are those who have left the country and are well appreciated outside. What's the disparity? Do we have to leave the country to be able to be valued and respected and appreciated? How do we change the sphere of things? How do we change the outroll of things? How do we get to sell our talents and accept it even more within ourselves so that the outside world can appreciate it? Let's have a quick chat with one person who has promoted African entertainment, especially Cameroonian, like no one else. It's Eric Bannav. Social media is the best platform if you want to get diverse opinions. And this particular person does not very often share his opinion. He is usually the type who shares others' opinions. But the few times you get him sharing his opinion, he goes into every single detail that you would expect. Eric, thanks for joining us on the Miss P Show.
Thank you very much, Miss P. It's my pleasure. Honor to be here.
Now, when I thought about culture, talking about our culture, the first person who came into mind was you, because I know that you share, you communicate on everything cultural. Now, you do a lot of African content, but specifically Cameroonian. I'd like to know why that pin on Cameroonian content.
Specifically Anglophone.
Well, to be fair, yes. I was trying not to say that, but yes.
Anyway, to be fair, we just have to say it. Well, I think, when this our situation started, the political crisis started, there was a lot of fights on opinions, people falling out with each other, and I was like, then I discovered that we had some very talented people from Oya, especially, trying to push their art, music, fashion, Oya, especially them Babena in general.
On social media, I've noticed that you interact and share everybody's post. That's everybody in quotes, so that's pretty much almost everyone. Why do you do that?
I started doing that because I had to work in a pharmacy, and I was very busy out there. So when I see like an article where I want to come back to it later, what best way could I come back to it than sharing it on my wall? Then when I'm off, I go back to my wall and I read the article. That's how I started sharing anything that I was interested in coming back to later on.
A lot of people have lost hope in Cameroon in general with everything that's been happening through the years. And for someone who's out there, who sees what's happening in the world, who sees development, who sees a different way of life, how come you are holding on to the things people don't care much about anymore?
Well, I think like I started sharing. The sharing was for myself. Then I saw people appreciating, like, you're always sharing our stuff. I was like, then I don't know what they're gaining when I share their posts. Let me just keep sharing it. But I share what is good, what I feel is interesting, what I feel people want to read. Sometimes I disturb too by sharing controversial stuff.
Funny thing, you just picked that up my mind, because I was telling myself immediately after this, I'm going to ask you, what do you think about controversy? Controversy brings in the traffic, but for us, controversy does not really bring in revenue. Controversy does not last a long time, right? So in terms of controversy, controversy in Cameroon, honestly, is mostly about sex. So what are your thoughts on controversy?
I think I've noticed with some people who got traffic from controversy, each time they want to switch, it's very, very difficult, because the audience is used to that. Now when you go back to something else, they are not as engaging as they were when you're doing controversial stuff. That's why I don't like controversy, but I do it once in a while, just share stuff two people can. And the other thing I don't like is because at times people go personal, they leave the subject matter and they go to other stuff, so it becomes very nasty.
So what are the type of controversies that you would engage in which definitely will not necessarily be personal or not nasty?
Anyone, depending on how I feel.
So say if you saw some sex scandal about somebody who's fairly popular, as much as you know it would affect them personally, would you get into it? If yes, how?
I mean, yeah, I've had personal controversies, so that one I will not close an eye to it, especially when I know the person has bad intentions. I rarely close an eye to that personal controversy. But when it involves somebody else, I tend to look at judge from so many things. Like I look at what the person is going to lose in all these. Yeah, it's a very give and take stuff. So I always try to weigh my options before I dive into controversy.
Well, that's fairly noble of you, because they say when you're in the media, most people are absolutely heartless. But I think I get where you're coming from. Do you think it's justified that because a lot of people feel like we're still in the building phase in Cameroon and we go through a lot of stress compared to other countries, we should not be putting out negative stories? Or do you feel like everybody should accept that if they're in the public eye, they're prone to that?
They lose a lot from these controversies. But then they too have to try to avoid finding themselves in controversies. So it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. At times you get those stories and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is just going to make this person lose like a contract. I had some artists telling me that they lost so many contracts when each time they had their stories, funny stories about them online. I was like, well, you guys try to find a way to avoid those people who bring those stories online, or you clear your surroundings. That's what I told. So yes, I think Steve told me the same thing. Steve in Canada, he told me like, well, we are not yet at this level, especially we from the Anglophone regions. I think this is like the first time we are trying to do something in the entertainment industry that I don't feel it necessary.
Many blogs have tried to go through that route to gain traction, but they have not survived. One of the blogs that I know has not really delved into controversy per se. She rather focuses on trends, be they positive or negative. She always has a positive message, it's better things. A situation like Linda EKG, do you think that will work in the Cameroonian context? Do you think a blog like that will do well?
The politics in Nigeria, public image is really huge in Nigeria. Like you can lose a lot from one funny story, especially on a Linda page. So and then people pay hard to avoid all those type of stories. But in Cameroon, who is going to pay you not to release Eric's news? Nobody.
In Cameroon, the Anglophones did start the collaboration movement, but there are a lot of cliques, there are a lot of clans, there are a lot of social media disputes, and efforts that we put in doesn't seem to last a long time. What's your take?
I think it's because we're kind of new to start off and we don't know how to manage it. I think that's why.
When you say manage, in what sense? Is it in terms of personal relationship? Is it in terms of professional? Because I feel that people do not understand the difference between personal relationships and professional relationships. They don't know how to differentiate and how to manage them.
Yeah, I think social media too has
a major role to play.
Yeah, because we have like 5 music stars. 5. I will not call them, but between 5 and 10.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about our region. We just have 5 10 music stars, but because of what they have done, we try to copy and trends on Facebook. I think the artists automatically feel like them. That's what I see when I look at Facebook. I don't know how they try to do groundwork. I don't see them doing media tours and all those type of things. So I think social media is kind of, some people just want to trend on social media and forget the relationship out of social media. People don't do media tours. People don't go to the radios. They don't go to the TVs. I mean, it's kind of, and another thing, I said one day that we cannot be singing in French and we'll go to radios. We don't go to their French radio. All those type of things. It's kind of funny. You see, it's like we don't know what we're doing. We're just gambling and all of that. Yeah, it's good to gamble, but at times, because you're putting French in your sound, you go to your Anglophone host and go to the Francophone host too.
How do I say it? The disparity between our artists wanting more following, more fees versus providing not so great quality. What's your take on it?
When you're growing up, let's say if you're growing up in our regions, you get songs from Nigeria. The songs trend in our regions before they spread even. You see, so it's like a trap in that circle where that's all they know. We don't have enough English programs on TV. Everybody turns to Nigeria, and the guys, they've done a great job with their media domination, like everywhere. Mnet, African Magic is more of Nigerian content. How do we challenge them? Bring in French content, or we just come and enter under them with our English content? I think that's what we've done. We enter under them with our English content. But one thing that worked for us is like we dominated Africa. The same thing that Nigeria, we did the same with Trace Africa. You see. Because I remember somebody posted on Facebook that one of Blanche Belly's songs plays like 10 times on Trace Africa.
Oh wow!
I think that gave us, that made us to dominate French Africa. Imagine that's the same thing Nigeria has done through the media to dominate almost the whole Africa, and English Africa especially. And this brings me back to appreciate all of us who are trying to do something with the media. We just need more energy and more time and more people to support us. We too can create a movement from the media, just like Nigerians
have done.
Dominated.
Now, when we talk about celebrating our talents versus criticizing our talents, most of those who have the ability and the possibility of appreciating their work or not tend to sometimes criticize. How do you promote and encourage and even criticize without being tagged a hater? Everybody seems to consider you a hater when you have a criticism, and they hardly see the positive side of it.
When you criticize on Facebook, haters come and they comment, so the blame falls on your head.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes.
When you criticize someone's art on Facebook, it's like you're giving chance for those who hate the person or those who have low-key problems with the artist to come and pour their frustration.
But now, how can you want someone to celebrate and appreciate what you do without having an opinion, to expect something better, to expect improvement? I don't know the right words, but I feel like it's being unfair to expect somebody to always appreciate you without necessarily trying to find their own means to get what they would love off of you.
If you go on your show and you criticize, let's say if you have an expert on your show who comes and is always criticizing art, and you don't post it on social media, you will not notice all these things.
True.
But the moment you post it on social media, you're gonna see like his ex-girlfriend coming on the comment section and insulting. That's just
now that definitely, an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend would be a hater.